Hello, my name is Dan Weiss, and I'm the product manager of Microsoft Learning Labs Online. I would like to show to you today what a lab online looks like. In the previous part of this two-part demo, we set up a Labs Online course on Learning Central, and that course was a Windows Server 2008 Active Directory class. One of the benefits of Labs Online that users have to be aware of is the fact that the labs are modular. What this means is I can click and choose on any lab in the course without having to complete the ones that come before it. So, if I want to take the lab for Module 12, I do not need to complete labs from Module 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through 11. I can simply click on Module 12. I'm going to load Module 12's lab right now. So what is happening right as this window is loading is we are loading in our Microsoft Data Center those corresponding virtual machines. We are taking them out of a sleep mode and we are waking them up for the user. You might be wondering whether or not you need to have this time scheduled so that your students, your instructors, or the students on their own can have reserved server time. That is not the case. This is an on-demand product, which means we are committed to making sure that users can have this product anywhere, anytime that they have the right bandwidth. So what you are seeing now is the final stages as the VM is loading or the lab is loading into the user interface here. So we're about halfway done in the process here, and on average we're looking at a 3-minute experience to connect to the virtual machines. In this case, it did not take 3 minutes to connect to the lab, and that is also due to my location being closer to one of our data centers here. I'm based currently in Redmond. And secondly, the fact that I have an excellent bandwidth connection. Bandwidth and latency to the servers are key components for ensuring an optimal experience. I am now in the virtual machines that correspond to the lab for Module 12. In this lab, I can see the two virtual machines appear on the two tabs right here. I do not need to use a remote login to switch between the domain controller and the second VM. In the lower right hand corner of the Labs Online interface, I see the quit function, and this is the optimal way to quit from a lab. If the user does not click on quit, the lab will still be running in the background. This allows the user, however, to recover and log back into a lab in case they lose their internet connection or have to reboot a computer for any reason. Right here now is the lab timer. This lab timer is to ensure that users are not logged into labs for days at an end. This lab time, though, is enough time to allow the majority of users to complete a lab. This lab time is based on the mock textbook recommended time, in addition to two 15-minute extensions so that the user has extra time as needed. Link to the help file, and then even the ability to call for Control Delete and be able to look at Task Manager and other functionality that corresponds to this virtual machine. As you can see, I have the full functionality within the virtual machine to click and load different components. We are currently loading the functionality to be able to manage the server. So as you can see, I can find out the computer name, the domain it sits on, the connection, and even see the product ID. Then I could click on buttons and I can be able to complete lab steps as needed. This is an amazing product for you, the partner, your instructors, and for your students in a multitude of ways. In the short term, this allows your students to have the ability to use labs online to reinforce their learning before the course up to 7 days, during the course, and after the course for up to 21 days. We're currently planning to expand after course access up to an amazing 180 days. You might ask, what value does this have for me? Well, it has value in a few different ways. The first one is it creates an exciting offering for your students to be able to reinforce what they're learning. Training is about the reinforcement of knowledge. It takes a user up to 8 times to be able to understand how to do a task successfully. Well, if they only are able to practice it once during the class, users might not always be able to get it 100% accurate. So a student can now go home, practice what they learned during class that day, come back to class the next day, and ask smart, intelligent questions to the MCT. What does that mean for a business and its bottom line? It means that students are going to be even happier when they leave that class. They're going to give your organization a better MTM score. They're going to go back to work and they're going to tell their manager, "Thank you for the training. I learned so much more because I could practice again and again what I've learned." Managers are going to be happy in their investment and they're going to look to your organization because of the fact that you provide the sandbox or the ability for their employees, your students, to be able to reinforce that learning. So this creates the opportunity to promote Labs Online as a competitive advantage for your organization on why a employer should choose you versus say another training offering. That's one advantage available. The second advantage is this takes away the complexity of setting up and managing labs in a physical classroom. Having the right bandwidth requirements is the key component here. As you can see in this part of the demo and in the first part, it is quite easy to set up Labs Online and run a class. It is simply a matter of clicking through a very simple web form and then clicking on a link to launch the labs. You do not need folks inside of your classroom setting up virtual machines on your classroom computers to do this. However, you might feel concerned that Microsoft Learning does not have that correct service level guarantee. Well, we do have a credit guarantee. If you're not 100% happy with your purchase, contact our support team, and up to 45 days after purchase, we will give you a credit back on that. That credit is applicable to anything that is sold on the Microsoft Learning Courseware Library website. That, however, is our commitment to you. What we would love to see from you is the commitment back in regards to using Labs Online, seeing if your students are willing to even pay more for this product because it gives them the opportunity to practice in their own virtual machine environments. There's no need for them to set up their virtual machines with Labs Online. There's no need to schedule the time as we talked about. Simply log in, click, and go. Now they have the ability to show to their employers the value that you, the CPLS, adds, and you, the CPLS, might be able to sell this as a value add offering on top of the traditional course. And in the long run, Labs Online offers the potential and the possibility of being able to reduce hardware costs by allowing Microsoft Learning to use the economies of scale that exist in Microsoft the corporation to create data centers to run 64-bit labs, to run content that we've launched. There might not have to be a need to acquire hardware down the road. You need, we are strongly encouraging our partners to try Labs Online for the possibility that entails in regards to hardware savings, but more so for the value add it provides to the classroom experience. This is the optimal way to ensure that your students can reinforce their learning. In our pilot scenarios, a major data point for us was that 60% of our students in the pilots practice within the labs outside the class 4 times or more. I see an amazing opportunity for our partners to be able to provide that to all of their students. And those partners who do have the potential to be substantially more competitive than other training opportunities. I would love it for you to go check out Labs Online today at the Courseware Library and be able to take advantage of this competitive offering today. Thank you for your time and have a great day.